all, welcome to Rupa's online tutorials. Today, I'm going to begin my journey of Python programming language, which is a worldwide popular language which is used by many programmers in their projects as well as in many schools and colleges. It is taught as a part of a curriculum. So we will begin this journey of learning Python in the most simplest way with practical examples. In this particular video, I would like to show you a brief history of Python. I would like to tell you a brief history of Python, and later I would also want to show you how to install the latest version of Python on Windows and how to run your first Python program. So let us begin now. Python is a high-level general-purpose programming language and was created by a person known as Guido van Rossum, and its first release was in 1991. We'll look at the brief history of Python. So Guido van Rossum, a Dutch programmer, began working on Python in the late 80s at the Centrum Wijnanden and Informatica in the Netherlands. He took it as a holiday project, a hobby project, and he wanted to remove some of the complaints that was there in another language known as the ABC language. He wanted to write a simpler code and a language which was easy for programmers to learn and put it inside the programs. So mainly his idea was to see that there was readability and adaptability of the code. When you compared programming languages like C, C++, Java, the syntax of Python is very simple. Learning this language takes very minimal time, and it also helps to do complex problem solvings. Python's first release happened in 1991. The version was 0.9.0. Here, it was having exceptional handling and functional modules in the earlier version itself. So Python in Jan 1994, the Python 1.0 was released. So 1.1.0 had garbage collection features, and later the stable version of Python, that is Python 2.0, was developed. Now Python 2.0 had very good features, and people and programmers were developing a lot of code on Python 2.0. Later in 2008, Python 3.0 was released. So there was significant improvements and changes when Python 3.0 was released. It was also called as Python 3000. It was also known as Python 3000, and it was also called as PY3K series. It contained syntax which was consistent. After this, many versions of Python 3 was developed, 3.3, 3.4, 3.9, and the latest version is 3.11, which was released on October 22. In Jan 2020, the Python 2 was actually depreciated. Okay, Python 2 was no longer used. But yes, there are some projects in Python 2, but then it was officially depreciated. It is no longer used. Now the different versions of Python 3 are used, and Python 3.10, which was released in October 21, had the feature of error messages, which helped people to, it became more user friendly and it was easier to learn Python. So this is a brief history of Python. And it also had other features, like it had an open source community, and Python was supported by this community called as Python Software Foundation. So what is the main idea of this global community is Python programmers and developers could always look for support in this community regarding their code or any new features of Python. And it's an ongoing evolution. If you see the present day, the data science and AI, which has become more popular, for that language, Python is helping for coding. So this is the Python timeline, which I now discussed. So we started with 0.190, then it was 1.0, then 2.0, and in 10 it was 2.7, and later Python 3.0 was released in 2008. So still this is continuing. The 3.0 series is continuing, and the latest version that we talk about is 3.11. So here I have the latest releases of Python. You can just go through that. And now looking at the key features of Python, it has a very simple syntax which makes it a very easy language for the beginners to learn. When you compare languages like C or C++, it has got a strongly typed language where you have to be very consistent with your syntax. It is not so in Python. It is a high level language. High level language means it's an English like language, so it is easy to learn again. And it's an interpreted language. Interpreted language means it is going to uh, do the conversion line by line. It doesn't need a compiler. The versatile application. Versatile means it is flexible. Okay, it can be used in web development, it can be done in data analysis, it can be used for automation, etc. Also, it has a standard library. Now, what does a standard library contain? A standard library contains a lot of functions. It contains a lot of built-in functions, so which will help, which will help the programmers to do programs in a more simplified way. It has a active community, I told you before, and it is a cross platform, meaning it can run on various operating systems. Just like Java, you can run it on different operating systems. It is not any particular operating system you have to write. Now, looking at the applications of Python, Python, as I told you, it is used in various applications. It's a very popular language. So it is used in web development to build websites, and it has frameworks like Django, Flask, and Pyramid. And it is used in data analysis and visualization. So it has some libraries like NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib, which are used for analyzing and visualizing data. So complex mathematical problems, which was difficult to be solved in other programming languages, can be easily solved in Python. Okay. Now, looking at other applications, it is used for machine learning and AI because it has libraries like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and Skitlearning. And it is also used for automation and scripting. That is, you can write scripts in Python which will help you to automate your tasks. Automate is to, make your time much more lesser. When you are just running those scripts, your time becomes lesser. And the continuous scientific research for simulations, data analysis, and modeling in fields like physics, biology, and astronomy also it is used. So it's a very popular language which is used worldwide, and it has been introduced in schools and colleges for students, hoping that yes, all of you also would contribute for this this vast language to develop in a better way. Now, looking at the installation of Python, these are the steps to install the Python. You open the web browser, go to this particular site, python.org, run the installer, and then you can even do your customized installation. But for the beginners, I would always suggest you to go in for the normal installation. Then you install Python, wait for the installation. The installer will copy the files, and once the installation is complete, okay, it is now installed on your Windows 10 computer. This is what I would like to show you here, how to install Python from your web. So we'll continue with this. So you can see here, I'll just show you this. So I've opened my web browser, okay, and I type here Python for beginners. Then I click on this Python for beginners. I go to downloads, and here I have to look for the Windows version of Python. So here you have the download latest version for Windows. It is 3.11.5. So we go click here, and here it starts downloading. In my download folder, this is getting downloaded. Okay, so here I can just say install now. So it has started installing the Python. You look here. So Python can be done on various shells. So here I'm going to do it on the idle shell. So you can look here in this particular website as it is doing. You have Python with different OS. You have Linux, Unix, Mac OS, Docker image. Anywhere you can you want to, Linux, Unix or Mac OS, you can put in your Python. So new to Python, start with the online tutorial and documentation. Okay, so here the setup was successful. Okay, I'm just going to close this, and then you can look here. After installing the Python, let us go to the idle shell and type our first Python program. If you look here, this is the prompt of the idle shell, the three arrows. So let me just print a statement. I am going to use the print function. A function always has the parenthesis and the arguments inside the parenthesis, just as in other languages like your C or C++. I'm using a single quotes here, and I just say hello world. And I close the quotes, and then I press the enter key. So here our program is interpreted and it is run without any errors. So this is the first Python program. I can also use the single double quotes here, Python. Okay, I open the quotes, I type the text. Okay, I say hello Python, double quotes, and then I press the enter. So you are having the output here. So it is as simple as this to learn the program. So print is a function which takes the argument, the string as an argument, which is enclosed in either single quotes or double quotes. If you like this video, please share and subscribe. And also any doubts, put it in the comment section. We will be continuing with our rest of the Python concepts in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.